Hello and welcome back to Mac at the Movies. This week I'll be reviewing for you the film Pillion. This was released November 28th, 2025 by A24, Warner Brothers Pictures, as well as Picture House Entertainment, and directed by Harry Leighton, who has never directed a full-length feature before. This is his first. Prior to this, it was many short films, so it's great to see that he was able to branch out into a full feature film with this one, and it was a great one to start out his full feature catalog. Hopefully there will be many more by this director. It was wonderfully shot, just a beautiful film all around. Starring Alexander Skarsgård, who plays Ray, and Harry Melling, who plays Colin. You may also know him as Dudley Dursley from the Harry Potter films. I believe I found him once in a film called Waiting for the Barbarians, something to that effect. I had reviewed it on here early on in the history of this channel. But the film opens up following the character of Colin as he's riding to what I would presume to be his sort of outside work hobby. He's a bit of I guess he's like a crooner in a quartet. He's at a bar singing for patrons and collecting money, I guess, for charity or to help build the quartet and sort of grow it on for futures to come. On the way to the bar, he's passed by a man on a motorcycle. You don't find out who that is until later, which is Ray. He returns back to the bar on Christmas Eve on a date. His mom set him up on a date. He's recently out to his family, everything like that. And his mother set him up on a date, and while he was there on the date, he noticed Colin, who he saw at the bar the previous night before, and who had ignored Colin. While on this date, the other gentleman kind of goes to the bathroom, and while he's there, Colin decides to go to the bar to get another drink for the two of them, when Ray approaches and sort of convinces Colin in not so many words to pay for the chips or crisps in this instance. This is set up in the UK. But or England. I'm not sure the exact whereabouts of this, and I know that there is a distinct, the UK is different from Great Britain, which is different from England. Just a big, and I'm here in America, and I don't know that, and I'm comfortable saying that to everyone, but he ends up getting sort of talked into paying for these chips, and while he's there and he's been sort of eyeing Ray all night, Colin has been eyeing Ray most of the night, Ray kind of passes him a little Christmas card with a phone number and, a request to meet on a date. Colin goes home, he's gone home from the date. His mom's asking how everything went. His father's interested in how things are going on the date, and Colin's just really kind of got in the back of his mind, he's ready for this date with Ray. And the very next day, Christmas Day, he's told his parents that he's got the date, and later that night he goes out and meets Ray out in town. That kind of goes down a weird side alley, and I'm not going to talk much about that here. Needless to say, this film is for grown-ups, as a lot of the scenes involve a more sexually mature audience to really watch this thing. It's a great film, but after this evening, Colin's sort of left in wait, kind of left in the lurch. Like, what's going to happen with Ray? Was this just like a one night thing in some back alley that got really weird? But at the same time, like, Colin's grateful that it happened. And eventually Ray sort of steps back into Colin's life. And I do really enjoy the moment that happens. Colin is a meter maid, basically. He works in a parking garage, and he gives people tickets for their times being up for their parking. And while he's getting yelled at by a patron, and he's trying to be empathetic and everything like that, he gets a text from Ray, and you just see him light up, and he starts ignoring the people who are mad at him. And I think, oddly enough, I was the only person that laughed out loud in the theater during that scene. I thought it was hysterical. Just this moment of, God, I have to hear this person bitch and complain about what now? It's not my fault that their meter was out or whatever happened. So you see that juxtaposed with the joy in Colin's face when Ray messages him. It's an interesting relationship and dynamic that forms between Ray and Colin. Colin doesn't really know what he wants in life, and Ray is very much aware of what he wants and what he doesn't want in his life. And what he doesn't want, he will just flat out reject. He will ignore, well, not ignore, but he's very open, very vocal about what it is he doesn't want, and he's not ashamed of telling somebody, and no, I don't want that, or closing the door in somebody's face if it's something he's not interested in. So it's kind of interesting that you get this character of Colin who's very unsure about what he wants or who he is in life. And then Ray, instilled with all this confidence to just do whatever he wants, regardless of how that might make another person feel, because that's that person's emotions, that's not his, so it kind of doesn't matter. It's a very dominant, submissive relationship where Colin sleeps on the floor, Ray sleeps in the bed. Ray will tell Colin what he wants for dinner, and Colin will make it, regardless if he knows how to or not. This starts to form this bond that gets introduced to more of Ray's friends, and Colin's outward appearance in life starts to change. And his mother sees this, his father sees it. His father's more, he's a grown boy, let him do what he's going to do. And his mom is very much concerned that this person is taking advantage of the kindness of her son. And she's very open and vocal about that, regardless of anyone else's feelings. Colin is, he's annoyed by this. He gets upset by this because she's more or less ruining something that he's enjoying. It's a time that he's having to explore and find out who he is. And Ray's just very much like, well, I'm sorry about your feelings. That's all he's going to say about it. There's a lot I have to leave out just because of the sexual nature of like how deep this film goes and how open it is with just overall sexuality. That, if there's some viewers on here, well, I may take the liberty of dropping an F-bomb or, some other curse word here and there. Some of the details of this are left for the deeper webs of the internet. So if you want to see it, I definitely recommend watching it. If you are old enough, there's some stuff in here that borderlines on the pornographic. Literally, you see things, and while I've seen worse in films, it's enough to warrant knowing that there is what appears to be just open nudity and sexual acts of certain kinds. But the one thing I find quite interesting about this film is Ray, and like through everything that's going on with Colin, he doesn't make himself open to Colin. He doesn't make himself available to Colin. Colin has to be available and open for Ray when he is needed. And it's kind of interesting with the relationship with Colin and his mom and things that happen, sort of openness that Ray starts to form due to something that happens. And even though it's very limited in the capacity to which Ray is willing to be open with Colin, that sort of it's very interesting to see how just closed off Ray is to everyone and the world. I was trying to collect my thoughts here and look over my notes. But at some point in time, Ray's been hurt. We see throughout the movie that Ray's not willing to be open and emotional. And there's a discussion on a camping trip between Colin and another gentleman about how Ray's not a kisser, how it would be difficult for him to be in a relationship with somebody he couldn't kiss. And you kind of don't realize, like, while you see it, you don't realize all the ins and outs of the relationship. And so you don't know that there's not moments where Ray won't be intimate with Colin outside of just pure carnal relations. And you start to see that Ray's basically shutting himself off. It's not so much this attitude and persona he's built of himself, but it's sort of like a prison that he's built himself. Like, he won't let anyone in. He won't let anyone be emotional with him because he's been hurt in the past, and he's not going to have that happen again. He won't be hurt again. What this reminded me of, and I told my friend Christy, who I went to see this film with, it reminded me a little bit, while not explained openly in the film. In the film, What Love Is, Matthew Lillard is very much open with the dialogue that he chooses to acknowledge his feelings toward women and love and how misogynistic it is. And it's sort of like that with Ray. He is very closed off on the emotions he's willing to show, so much so that he will hurt those around him to prove that this emotion is not something that's needed. And if you don't want that, I'll show you what I'll be willing to do to prove that emotion's not needed. It's very hurtful for Colin. But I think through all this, and I don't want to spoil the ending here, I think through all this, Colin finds out who he is. Even in a moment where Ray does become more open and emotional, Colin doesn't really know what it is he wants. Ray asks him what he wants, and Colin's very much like, I don't know. I've never been asked, so I don't know what it is I want. Like, what should I want? And it kind of sheds some light on the whole like idea of the dominant and submissive nature of their relationship that he's never had to think. So the moment that he's given the opportunity to have his own feelings and opinions and desires, he doesn't know what they should be. But through this relationship, he kind of finds that along the way. And I think it's very interesting. It's a bit of a heartbreaking story when you see it, but I really liked it. I struggled a lot with how I wanted to rate this film because I feel like it requires more than one viewing. There's a lot to take away from it. A lot of just emotional baggage that Ray carries around to just the emotional inadequacies of Colin, that he has no experience. he doesn't know what's going on, so he's just doing what he's told along the way. And it sort of reminds me, like, to a degree, while it doesn't relate to this at all, it was kind of reminding me of My Dinner with Andre, to an extent. Like, you have these two characters, one of which is very confident and understanding of who he is, what he's done to get to where he is at now, and the other character, while has lived life and had experiences, is still lacking in so many areas in life that taking this advice from this other person might be something to just better him and get him to that next step that he needs to be at. All in all, I think this film I give a solid 3 stars to. I really enjoyed it. 3 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Again, I think I would sit strongly on this even after watching it again, which is something I definitely plan on doing when this film comes out on Blu-ray. I will get it. It is one that I feel makes you uncomfortable as Colin is in the film. That, it makes you look at things in other ways. I really enjoyed it. I struggled on giving this 4 stars. There are some parts I kind of wish could have been expanded, and I get why that wasn't there. I think there needed to be processing of grief, things like that could have been better portrayed in this film, where we just saw gaps in time, and you just have to understand that, okay, all this probably happened during this time. But I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to check it out again. When it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to get it. Again, wonderfully shot film. Just overall great film. And I definitely suggest everyone checking it out. If you've seen this film, what have you seen of it? Or what did you think of it? Did you love it or did you hate it? My friend Christy gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't think that this film was beautiful to the point where I was just like emotionally driven to 5 stars. And I don't think it's something that, for me anyway, is going to be something I watch on a continuous basis, that I just have to watch over and over and over again, and just can't get enough of to warrant 4 stars. This is one I'm going to rewatch. I don't think it's going to be something I watch multiple times a year, like I do some films. But it's definitely, once or twice a year I'm going to pull this one out. Probably like February and June, for obvious reasons. I think I'll pull this movie out to put in the rotation every year. It's definitely a great film, and a great performance by Harry Melling. I thought, because, growing up, most of us know him from Harry Potter, and most of us hate him for that same reason. And it's not until like the final Harry Potter films that you kind of get to enjoy him as a person. And it wasn't until I saw him in other films that I kind of enjoyed him as an actor. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you want to rewatch it? Have you rewatched it? And we'll go from there. I hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope you got all your clocks changed for the daylight savings, or whatever that is now. Leap forward, spring ahead, whatever. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye.